Oh, hey there.
Hey.
What's going on, man? Good to see you. Long time, man.
Good to see you too.
When did we meet? When was that? This is pop star Ishan, by the way. I think he's more like rock star Ishan these days. Been working on his evolution for a few years. Of all the artists I've worked with, I think you're the one who's changed the most since I met you.
Okay, that's a compliment.
Yeah, you were definitely. You came to me and you were singing like a lot of Backstreet Boys, and now you're singing the blues. You know,
Yeah.
What has changed the most for you in the past 4 years, and what has maybe stayed the same?
What I've changed the most? Okay.
Person, musically, all answers are good answers.
Right. So music. So we started making originals when we met, like Avija, and they're about to release now, and we made those tracks around more than 10 times at least.
Yeah.
Right, and it's a single track I'm talking about to make it better. So in this process we have learned to figure out our own style, what works for us better, like how to write better, and because the music we used to make before, we don't like it now as we, right? So that's one thing. So it's more open to ideas, I'm more open to creativity, and I'm not like stopping myself now. I'm just free falling, you know.
Free falling.
Yeah.
Little Tom Petty reference. I'm gonna take credit for any rock and roll references he makes today. What about you has changed as a person? What have you seen in the last 4 years that's maybe influenced the music or changed your direction? What are some good things that have happened, some bad things that have happened?
Well, there are a lot of good things that have happened. The one is like I met you 4 years back.
Thanks, I'm flattered.
Right, and so you have changed me a lot actually. Like you're one of my inspiration. You know, I keep telling you that. So your style of music and understanding that you gave me, though we don't meet very often. You live in US, I live in India, and we hardly meet, like.
Not enough, that's for sure.
Right. So, but whatever I learned from you as a big brother, as a mentor, right? So I've been implementing those things in my life, not only music. You are the person who I talk about life more than anybody else in the world.
Oh boy.
Right? That gives the right direction, and yeah, I'm just following the path, trying to be a good person, a good human, and
See, he learned that from me, that you have to try to be good because it does not come naturally. No, but I think you came out of your shell a little, like, in terms of when I met you. You don't seem scared anymore. You seem like you're really excited about like the directions that you could go. I don't think you're as I think your vision's a little broader now, right? Like,
definitely.
yeah. What about the music side? What about like instrumentation? What changed there? Because I think that's where I've seen you grow a lot, like production wise, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I've started learning production from like last 1 year. I've been practicing piano, I've been practicing guitar, and practicing daily my voice, like an hour a day at least. I've been teaching music, so I spend a lot of time with students, their problems, their vocal techniques, their textures. So like I have 100 of students right now, right? And
so many. That's so many.
So that's why
I've seen you teaching on Zoom, and it's like 8 at a time, and I'm like, oh man, I want to get him. I want some vocal lessons from him, but I don't think he has room for me. It's
no, I have always room for you. It's like understanding about somebody else, and because I've gone through the phase when I've been learning music, and I have a lot of teachers that I have learned music from. It's not about a single person I could just go and give the credit. There are thousands of hands behind me who have made me what I am right now, right? It's, you know, the teachers, right? And your inspirations, wherever you get that, right? Even if you're jamming, what good idea you could get. I focused more on those observations, whomever I'm meeting to, and their style of doing things, how do they do that, and uh, so yeah.
It's funny because I feel like when I met you, you had a following already on Instagram, more than I still have. Back then, you still had more of a following, and I kind of got the impression when we met, and I met him from Instagram, so it was like, who is this person? At first, I was a little worried he was going to be like a serial killer. Turned out to be the sweetest guy, but I think that there was this element of like, you knew you were a good singer, so you would show up and other people would play the instruments. And I've seen you now. You just said you're playing the piano, you're showing up with a guitar. We just jammed, and I noticed your rhythm on the guitar. It was, and we were improvising. You were able to just sit and improvise, and we both played G at once, and the rest was history. We knew we were in that key. So do you feel like that has really changed how you approach music? Is your ability to like bring an instrument with you where you go and like feel confident there?
Definitely. Like when I'm playing an instrument and I'm jamming with somebody else, it makes a difference.
Yes.
Definitely. Even if I'm not playing it, I still have my voice as an instrument.
Yes, I love what you just said, because I feel like a lot of people forget that, especially when it comes to production. It's like you'll have people that want to they're like, oh, don't use autotune, that's cheating, or don't tune your vocals, that's cheating, but then they're running through a tuner, they're running through a pedal board.
So what happened is like nowadays the sound, what I'm realizing so far is that you need an autotune no matter how good singer you are, because everything is like, it's very specific, every pitch. Before we used to play the instruments live, we do still, but there are, not every time you can do that, and not every time you can coordinate with your entire team. Sometimes you have to make your own music, and like you are just playing with any patch or something, or you're using VST or stuff. So it's very specific with the tunes. So when it comes to your vocals, it definitely gonna sound off somehow. Right? So you need to be very specific as a human, and you need to train your ears. You need to practice regularly. Definitely, I'm not promoting auto-tune. Like I know everybody is a singer these days. You need to practice, right? But most of the things, like a small things, you can just use it as like, but it's not like depending on it.
I've one thing that's really helped me, because I'm not like a natural born singer. I've had to really practice it. And for me, my journey of singing, I think we were talking about it earlier, it's been 20 years where I've been really trying to figure out how to make it work. And one of the things that was really humbling for me was not autotune, but Melodyne, if you're familiar with that, right? Seeing my engineer and one of my best friends, Dustin, go in and have to Melodyne my voice, and just, I had a certain amount of humility where I was like, oh man. And it's not so much that I was bad or out of tune even, it's that there's, people think about singing as pitch, but there's more. There's pitch, there's formant, there's timing, there's attack, there's sibilance, there's all sorts of different aspects to it, where it's like, if you really go look at your voice under a microscope, no matter how good you are, there's always ways to improve. And so I've started tuning my vocals, then practicing to that, so that I know what I'm practicing to is right. You know what I mean, in that sense. Here with Ishan, talking about music and all good things in life. And I wanted to ask you about your writing process and inspiration. Where do you find that? I remember one thing that you said to me when I was really feeling depressed one day, and I wrote it in my notebook. He said to me, if I was as depressed as you, I'd have written 2 songs already. So talk to me about inspiration. How often do you write? Do you have a system for when you're not inspired? How does that go?
Mostly of whatever I've written is like is happening with my life, or is happening with some other person's life, or like it's true, it's happening, it's like have heart in it. So when I'm doing it, suppose like if I'm writing a song, I'm not planning to write a song. That's not my process. I'm just sitting on the guitar, and suddenly I'm thinking about some situation that happened, and I start jamming slowly, and I started humming up the tune, and the words come on its own.
I like that.
Right? I don't make it from my end. Like I don't try for it. That's what the thing is, and I put all my heart in it because I'm already involved in those things. Or sometimes I also do like some situation is about you and me, suppose, right? So I've written something about me, and now I'm rethinking about it on from your perspective.
Kind of just the switcheroo. That's good. That's empathy. That's the connectivity that music gives. I think I've noticed. I think a lot of people have noticed in our society globally a sort of self-centeredness, and we see kind of where that leads in destructive forms. Sometimes it works out if you're like crazy genius and only your ideas matter, but usually it's like Icarus flying too close to the sun and melting. So I really like what you said there. Do you ever run into writer's block? No, because you're open.
Yeah.
You're open. There's always tons to write about. See, here's where it's like, I was the mentor. I run into writer's block all the time, creative blocks. How do you get over being self-conscious as a writer, as a musician? Because I've seen you go out into public in front of hundreds and hundreds of people and just start singing. So what is that like? Is it just bravery, or is it something else? Like, what's going on there?
So how it goes? It's been a while. I've not been performing after the COVID thing, you know.
Nobody has.
Right. So, but yeah, I'm starting back again, and we have a show tomorrow. And
We meaning you. I like that. I like that.
right.
Are you taking your guitar up on stage?
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta have to play those songs for us.
Okay.
When we get back, I'm gonna record it. They'll go with these reels.
So I'll do that.
How do you get over stage fright as a vocalist? I guess
Okay, that's
you live in that
that's
world.
where I belong, I feel. Right? So when I'm on stage, I'm not myself.
You're beyond.
I'm something else that I like. I don't know that part of me.
So you have like this letting go of everything that you were 5
Exactly.
seconds ago.
When I
And you're
step
just
on
free.
Stage, yeah, I'm just free. Right? I'm just connecting with myself, and I'm just connecting with the audience. I'm making a difference.
I love what you just said. Somebody said this to me once, which I find interesting because I know I'm not the strongest guitar player, but there's something that happens when I get on stage that people resonate with. And he's a great musician himself. His name's Connor. He said to me, like, when you get on stage with your guitar, you are one of the freest people I've ever seen. So I think I get that, but if I was just to walk up on stage as a vocalist, it's weird because maybe that's because I started on the guitar or started it, with that. I can feel the vibration in my own body, so it's I know I'm in tune or not, versus sometimes when I'm just singing, it's a little different. It's interesting how people respond to that. Like, he said nothing about my performance or how good or bad it was. It's just, you are free, and I know I'm free for those moments. Those moments, it's like I'm not even a body, I'm just energy.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
I started singing like at a very early age. So I was in like class 4 when I first gave my auditions, and I stood third in my city. So I don't have that stage fear.
Oh, you got validated as a young lad.
Right. So I had no idea what I was doing, but it was taking me somewhere, and here I am.
I think one thing is I'm about 10 years older than you, is this realization that as a child we were a little bit less fearful of life, maybe a little more bold, and so it allowed us to be better musicians. In some ways, I think, like, oh man, when I was 8, I played the piano less self-consciously, less self-critical than I do now, or stuff like that. So have you noticed that in your students, like is there a difference between like kids singing versus adults singing in terms of their ability to like?
There
What do you notice
there's
that
a
way?
lot of difference. So adults who are singing sort of have some kind of a shame sometime, like, or not shame. Sorry, wrong word.
Shame might be the right word, right? If they're thinking that it's not good enough.
So like they're hesitant about it.
Maybe some like embarrassment.
Yeah, so it's like what other might think about it, what I might think about their singing if they are not singing it right, whatever they are singing. I am here to fix you all, right? So
Yeah.
you need to open up with me like what you are doing so I can get the best idea out of it. The kids, they sing it from the heart, so sometimes they don't like the song that I keep giving them, or the exercises. It's quite boring. It's a process, but you know, like that's how you shape your voice. But they are more free, what I have seen so far. And
Yeah. Do you have any advice? This will be our last question. Do you have any advice for somebody who's just starting as a musician, whether they're a kid or an adult?
yeah, just go for it. Just go for it. And I'm enjoying it, and Sean is enjoying it.
I've enjoyed it a little too much sometimes. Not sure if that's possible, but
Right. We, you know, it's like everything does take time. So if you're thinking to be a star over a night, so it doesn't work that way. Maybe it does for you.
not me. Not me.
Not me either. But yeah, that's one thing you need to take care of. And just connect yourself with music first, and then think about all those things like getting famous or getting money out of it. I know like the financial aids are very much needed in this industry. Yeah, and you need to make your own ways, but do it. If you want to do it, you should do it. There are like some students who are above 80,
Oh,
right? They couldn't do it. Like
interesting.
now they are free, they're retired, and they want to do the music. So they joined me and doing well. But you must realize that like it took them time to do it, but they still are doing it. And there was a part of it in their heart that they wanted to do, but they couldn't do. Right? So yeah.
Well, thank you for being on our little interview here, Sean, and hopefully your words will inspire the next generation.
I'm grateful for that.
Ciao.